We officially moved out, so let me show you what almost 4K gives you in Zone 2-3 in London. So you see a living room slash kitchen. This is the first bathroom with a bath, pretty spacious. This is the bedroom we used as an office and wardrobe. Now you see the master bedroom. It also comes with a shower and toilet. And there are some small storage and utility room in the flat. From the amenities I liked, there was a gym, community space and a pool. I never used the pool, to be honest, because usually these spaces were busy as these are amenities for 5 buildings. That's it.
£4 a month in Zone 2 to 3 gets you a flat the size of a prison cell with a pool nobody uses. Half the country's wages now vanish straight to landlords, while 30-somethings hide in their childhood bedrooms. This is Britain on the brink. Welcome to the housing collapse.
How old is too old to live with your parents?
I think 20. I moved out when I was 19.
23. I'm thinking 21.
After 25, too old.
20.
I think 21, maybe after uni.
And when did you move out?
I moved out at 19.
35?
35?
Yeah.
Why 35? That's so old.
I don't know. Nobody can afford a house anymore.
How old is too old to live with your parents?
22, 23 years old.
Did you move out at 22?
I moved at 19.
I don't think there's a proper age.
Desperately need to rebalance the power between tenants and landlords, and I think ending no-fault evictions is a very good thing. Tenants shouldn't be removed for not having done anything wrong.
What you call no-fault eviction, one might say, is I want my property back. It shouldn't require the tenant to do something wrong for you to get your property back.
My house and somebody's renting, surely I should have the final say.
Well, it's their home, and I think that's the important thing. We want everybody to be able to have a home, and we don't want to put the rights of property above the basic right of having a home. We do need to have controls on rents, which this Act doesn't have, because rents have been rising far higher than wages have been going up. People are paying a huge proportion of their income in rent, which is of course bad for them and bad for their families, but it's also bad for the broader economy because that's less money for them to spend, and it's more money which is ultimately going to people who, generally speaking, don't need it. We had rent controls in this country until 1986. Housing was dramatically more affordable. Now, there is another element to the equation which does need to be factored in, which is social housing. And what we have seen since around the same time, the assault on social housing, has been the private sector having to pick up a lot of the slack. We also need to couple reforms which go much further than this particular Act with a large expansion of homes for social rent, which is not the con of affordable housing and shared ownership, and isn't just housing associations.
There's effectively no ability, or a hugely stymied ability, for landlords to put their rents up at all.
I'm really not unhappy about rents not going up. I mean, as I said, I would like to see a different and more effective system of rent.
Where the hell you living where your rent is £495 flipping pound? County fucking Durham? Jesus Christ. So, obviously I'm from London, but I've got properties in Northampton, and most of the properties are rented out on a room by room basis. So, I've got rooms up for rent for £450. That's just for a room. Obviously, bills included, but that's just for a room. One of my tenants pays 700 and something like that for a room. Obviously, like I said, I got multiple properties with multiple rooms and that. But yeah, some of the rooms are like 550 and that. But yeah, this person must be living far away if they're paying 495, because they said private, as in private rent. If it was 495, yeah, they could be living in Northampton. Nah, not London. Nah, London. If you're council. Yeah, I'm saying 495 would be council. If you're living in London council, depends on the borough, obviously, depends on the size of the house and that, but you could pay between 600 probably to 800 for a 3-bed house, council in London, or housing association London. If you're in Northampton, like I said, that the tenants have told me, I think they pay about £130. It just depends. I might start asking more people. £130 a week, call that, £520 for the month and that. Council, Northampton. But private Northampton, if I was going to rent out one of my properties, one of my 3-bed houses, private no bills included, I'd probably charge I think the going rate's probably about 1,200 or something, 1,100, something like that. Obviously, it does depend on what part of Northampton, because this area is a big area and there's nice parts and some not so nice parts and that. So, yeah, it just depends on that. But £495 for a 2-bed house, private, you must be in the northeast of England or something like that. Probably on the tip of the Scottish border or something like that.
Rents in the UK are rising, but that's not the full story. Let me explain. Because what's happening in the rental market right now tells us a lot more about pressure than profit. Across the UK, average rents have climbed up about 6 to 7% only in the last year. But at the same time, something interesting is happening. Tenants are staying longer, landlords are holding steadier. And when it comes to arrears, they're slightly higher, but they haven't exploded. The market is not collapsing, it's cooling. People are not moving, not because they don't want to, but stability has become the new currency. When mortgages sit at about 5 to 6%, renting feels like a safe pause. But that pause is causing pressure, especially for younger renters who are trying to save. Behind every rent rise, someone is doing the maths, choosing between comfort and progress. And behind every landlord increasing rent, someone is behind trying to keep up with higher costs. And that's the real story. Both sides adjusting to survive in the same market. You need to understand, this isn't greed, it's gravity. We are kind of in a new phase right now. Not boom or bust, it's balance. Tenants staying longer, landlord rethinking strategy. The system is not broken, it's just finding its level. Follow me if you want more property solution content. I drop them every day.
How much of your income is going on rent?
Because it can't keep going up, and that just seems to be what's happening.
And your housing costs are through the roof.
Scotland's in the grip of what they call a housing emergency. The UK as a whole has a housing crisis, and a big part of that is how much we're paying in things like rent. The average price for a rental property in Scotland is £1,000 a month. Here in Glasgow, it's £1,200 a month. Now a panel of experts commissioned by the Scottish Government says you should be paying no more than 30% of your income on rent. Otherwise, it's unaffordable.
60%, maybe 70%.
60% of your income goes towards your rent.
Yeah. I know other people that are paying way more than I am.
The wages aren't always the best as well, and your housing costs are through the roof. I was actually a support worker for the homeless as well, so obviously housing costs are completely through the roof and unaffordable just now.
Before my husband and I were in London, we were in New York, and we were easily spending like 60% of our income. It's part of why we have been moving the last 7 years, is trying to find a more affordable way to live.
I used to live in Glasgow and then moved away. And since coming back, I've noticed an incredible rent increase. And I just often think there must be some people that just cannot afford to live here anymore, which is really sad.
My rental isn't that expensive, but I don't think that's the case for most people. These children are, say children in their 30s, can't leave home.
That's what they think. Is your rent affordable?
There's a lot of noise in the UK property market right now. We hear about a crash, a mortgage squeeze, and an affordability crisis. But what's the real story behind these headlines? According to Halifax, average UK house prices are near a record £300,000. However, growth is only around 2 to 3%, and in some regions, prices are even declining. So while it's not a massive crash, the data confirms the market is in a significant slowdown. Mortgage rates are the real issue. The high cost of borrowing is hitting first-time buyers hard. For those already on high-interest mortgages, any rate hike adds hundreds of pounds to monthly payments. This is the mortgage squeeze, driving market strain. The core problem is low supply. Planning approvals for new homes are at record lows. Adding to this, housing is increasingly seen as a speculative investment, which drives up prices rather than providing homes for people. Here is the direct impact for you. Buyers need to tread carefully as borrowing remains expensive. Renters are likely to face sharper competition. Homeowners should look to lock in a good mortgage deal now, especially if you are nearing renewal. So there you have it. The UK housing market isn't collapsing, but it is shifting. Like and share this video with anyone in the UK. Visit ukcompass.com to find the best UK providers, free of charge. Follow us for the latest tips and updates on navigating the UK economy smoothly.
How much do you pay for rent? I pay £950.
Zone do you live in?
I live in Zone 1. It's just my own room, but I share a bathroom and it's catered. So that's a really good thing.
$731.
Currently I don't live in London. I live in Kent, because I'm a student in Kent. So I live in Canterbury. Yeah.
I pay £1,000 a room in zone 4-5, Wembley Park.
Is it shared accommodation?
Yes, share accommodation, share kitchen, share living room, share toilet.
Did you know you can boost your credit by reporting your rent payments to TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax? Get started with Emma up today. Link in bio.
This is actually appalling, isn't it? Private rent in Britain now swallows 44% of the average wage. So for the average person in the UK, nearly half their wage is just going on rent. The average rental price outside of London is nearly £1,400, and in London, it's over £2,700 a month. I just can't believe how insane that figure is. If I relate it to my context, my wife and I spend about 20% of our total household income on our mortgage. That's take-home pay, by the way, not our wage. And what does that allow us to do? Well, that allows us to save money and obviously invest. That's what my channel is about. But if you're spending nearly half your wage on renting, I'm not surprised that nearly 40% of the country have £1,000 or less in their savings. We have so many problems, let's be honest, in the UK, but housing is an issue that's been ignored for decades. No, we're not talking about it. It's obviously hard to get on the housing market anyway. And if you're privately renting, like lots of people, you're getting ripped off. Let's be honest, it's not an easy problem to fix and it needs radical change. It would be ridiculous to suggest that the government should actually create more social housing. But also, and I can't really believe I'm saying this, but are we at a stage where we need rental controls? It's a difficult one, but when people are spending nearly half their wage on rent, something has to change. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What's your housing cost like? Is it anywhere near this percentage? Before we go, don't forget to like and follow for more finance and investing content.
When Section 21 ends in May 26, what actually happens to rents? Everyone's predicting stability, but people that are saying this aren't the ones who finance the sector, like me. They're ignoring the one force that decides rent levels: supply. If landlords can't regain possession quickly, or the courts fall behind, they don't usually sell, they just stop buying. And when investors stop buying, fewer homes enter the rental market. Less new stock, but more renters. Cities are already under pressure. Manchester, Liverpool, rental demand is rising fast. The stats are there. Take away new rental supply and rents don't fall, they rise. Abolishing no-fault evictions doesn't create homes, it changes the rules of the existing ones. And without more building, rents don't stabilise. They get pushed up by scarcity. So what happens to rents after Section 21 ends? Well, they follow supply. And unless supply increases, rents won't go down, they'll be pushed up by design.
Truth is, we're not in a housing market anymore. We're in a hostage crisis. No new homes, endless demand, and the only winners are the ones owning the bricks. Keep bleeding half your salary or move back in with mum. Britain on the brink. See you in the next one. Like if you're raging too.